What is going on, everybody? What is going on, the Catch fam? My name is Jon Dawson. In today's video, we are hopping into another 2022 fantasy football mock draft. In today's video, we've got a 10-team mock from the 9th overall selection through the ESPN platform. If you guys do enjoy today's video, be sure to hit that like button on the way in. Hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel, and check out all of our links down below, as well as drop any comments, questions, concerns pertaining to the 2022 fantasy football season down below. If you guys have any mock draft requests on top of that, please let me know in the comment section down below as well. Without further ado, let's hop into another 2022 fantasy football mock draft. All right, so sitting at 1.9 overall, I'm more than likely just going to take the best available running back or receiver. If we go running back in the first round, in the second round I'm going to go receiver, and vice versa. If we go receiver in the first round, I'm going to go running back in the second round. In a 10-team format, really in a 12-team format as well, I have found that the most consistent way to build a good roster is just to switch between the running back and the receiver position and go from there. So this is more of a standard scoring format, being an H2H mock, not necessarily a PPR mock. So we're going to go through this really and just look at the best available players from the running back and the receivers positions, and then after that, find a quarterback at the right time. Just keep an eye on certain tiers of quarterbacks and let the right quarterback fall to us at the right time. And we'll do the same for the tight end position, unless we get to a point in this mock where Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews are just sitting there and we absolutely cannot pass them up. So looking at the board so far, we've got JT, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, CMC, and Jamar Chase off of the board. We'll go ahead and take a look here as Cooper Kupp is selected. For me, without a doubt, the best available player is Justin Jefferson, but there's no way he's going to fall to 1.9. But we do see Joe Mixon off the board here and almost landed Justin Jefferson. So Najee Harris is sitting here. There's a couple of receivers I really like. Let's go ahead and select Najee Harris in H2H mock. I think he's a great selection at 1.9, which means at 1.12, or excuse me, at 2.2, we're going to be selecting a receiver. CeeDee Lamb is off the board with the final selection in the first round. Then Saquon Barkley goes. So Dalvin Cook is sitting here, which is relatively intriguing overall to start this thing with a double running back squad, but I think we'll divert and we'll go receiver. There's definitely an argument for Debo here, definitely an argument for Stephon Diggs, and I love both those players, but I really like Davante Adams going into the season, so I would not mind having Debo or Diggs on this roster to start things off, but I'm going to go Adams. We'll start things off with Najee Harris and Davante Adams, and we'll kind of just sit back here, see how the board plays out. And then at pick 29, we're going to go with the best available running back, and into the fourth round at pick 32, we will go with the best available receiver. And then after that, we'll probably start to keep an eye on the quarterback position and maybe the tight end position and kind of build some tiers based on our own rankings, and we'll just go from there. I think it's a really easy way to draft. I really think this strategy builds consistently good rosters that I would be confident going into the season with, and you don't have to overthink any aspect of the draft. You're just building up at those two primary skill positions, running back and receiver, and then allowing a quarterback and tight end to fall to you. All right, so Kamara's off the board at 13, Dalvin Cook at 14, Debo gone at 15, Nick Chubb gone at 16, Diggs gone at 17, Mark Andrews falls as the first tight end off the board at 18 overall. We've got two more selections in the second round. So looking ahead to pick 29, we're going to try and secure a running back. If DeAndre Swift or Javonte Williams somehow falls out, then I will go with either of those backs at 29. But right now, looking at ESPN's rankings for H2H mocks, I would probably be targeting James Conner and crossing my fingers that he falls out here. Love Conner as an RB2 behind Najee Harris. If he's not available, maybe we go with Breece Hall. I don't mind that selection. But ETN, although he's ranked at 60 overall, he is going much earlier in our subscriber mock drafts. So I don't necessarily mind him, but I think we could probably hold off a little bit longer. So we'll keep an eye on ETN throughout this draft as well. Aaron Jones is another player sitting here who holds a ton of value in these H2H mock draft rankings, but I would just rather get AJ Dillon a little bit later on and secure that value later on. So running backs are starting to get ate up here as Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce finished out the second round. Going into the third round, all running backs so far: Leonard Fournette, DeAndre Swift, Javonte Williams, and Aaron Jones off the board. So right now, Cam Akers is your top running back, followed by James Conner. So there's a slimmer of hope. I don't know. Cam Akers is off the board there, so I don't know if James Conner is going to fall out here, but I would absolutely love that selection. There are some really good receivers sitting here, so it's possible, as DJ Moore is taken off the clock, that we do land James Conner. If we don't land Conner, like I said, we'll probably just go with Breece Hall and we'll move right along. But there are some really good receivers, and that's one thing to keep in mind with this strategy. If Conner gets taken here and we just feel like Mike Evans or AJ Brown are the best available players, then by all means, we can go ahead and go with one of those receivers. But let's go with James Conner. I don't want to miss out on him, as Josh Allen was the 28th overall selection there. And now there are plenty of receivers I like here. I mean, I specifically really like Mike Evans or AJ Brown, although I like Devonta Smith in later rounds, so I don't want to go too heavy into the Eagles offense too early. And that's the thing, right? We go with the best available running back in James Conner, and there's still now at pick 32 a plethora of receivers to choose from. So I really like Mike Williams sitting here. I do really like AJ Brown as well. T. Higgins. I mean, there's a lot of good upside players sitting here. But I'm gonna go with Mike Evans at the end of the day and get some consistency and get a guy who gets a ton of red zone targets and has scored a ton. The most touchdowns by a receiver since 2019 is Mike Evans. So I am happy with Mike Evans as my wide receiver too. I love the start to this team. Najee Harris, James Conner, Devontae Adams, and Mike Evans in H2H format. I think this is a beautiful looking start to this roster. So Keenan Allen went at 30 overall into round 4. So ETN does go relatively early. Like I said, he's not going to go between pick 60 and 65 or whatever it is. He is going much, much earlier in our subscriber mock. So don't bank on him being available that late in a draft. Mike Evans, our selection at 32. Mike Williams goes right after Mike Evans. I love that selection. A great upside pick. Kyle Pitts gone at 34. T. Higgins gone at 35. AJ Brown gone at 36. So one quarterback off the board here. I'm still not at a point where I feel like I need to necessarily be concerned about quarterback, but if we're kind of drafting at the spot where we might be able to secure a Justin Herbert, and it's really, really tempting because I do think that Herbert could finish as QB1 on this season, but I would just rather kind of hold off and go for a guy like Jalen Hurts or Kyler Murray if we don't land one of those two guys. And I really like the idea of stacking Joe Burrow with Trey Lance, which is going to be harder to do realistically in a real draft, but it's possible, and I think it looks for a really good mock. So even if I got just Burrow or Lance, I'd be happy. And then there, even if you start with Lance as a QB1, I just like getting a stable quarterback with Lance, and that could be a Derek Carr, could be a Kirk Cousins a little bit later on as well. So we'll just kind of sit back and see how this draft board plays out. AJ Brown gone at 36, Deontay's gone at 37, Gabe Davis gone at 38, Kittle gone at 39, Jalen Waddle gone at 40. Overall, that wraps up the 4th round and takes us into the 5th. DK Metcalf off of the board. So looking at who's available, right, I would probably still go running back at 49 and receiver at 52. I'd be really happy, especially in this scoring format, to land Breece Hall, Monty, or Josh Jacobs as an RB3 behind Najee Harris and James Conner, and then just go with the best available receiver at 52. So we'll just kind of sit back and see if one of these 3 running backs is available. And then coming into the following round, I'm probably just going to go A.J. Dillon in the best quarterback available, and we'll move right along. So I think we're in a great spot at this point in the draft, and that's why I love this strategy of what I kind of call a bounce back strategy, just switching between running back and receiver, because I just feel comfortable throughout the whole draft. Like, I'm not stressed out about what quarterback is going to be on my roster. I'm not stressed out about the tight end position. I'm just letting a good value quarterback and tight end fall to me, and I'm just stacking up consistently at running back and receiver. And I really just feel like I've said a couple times throughout this mock that I just built a very good and consistent roster from head to toe. All right, 5th round here, we got Metcalf, Elijah Mitchell, Zeke, Darren Waller, Monroe, St. Brown, J.K. Dobbins, Scary Terry, and Montgomery gone. So most of those running backs we just talked about are gone. So there's an argument for Breece Hall here, but I'm going to go Josh Jacobs. I like that Raiders offense this year, and I would rather take a chance on Michael Carter a little bit later, where I don't feel like I have that potential with another Raiders running back, although I think there's going to be more than one Raiders running back utilized, right? I just don't know who I'm going to roll the dice on within that offense. So I'll go with Jacobs there. I know there's a lot of you out there who would rather go Breece Hall. I'm fine with either selection as an RB3 right there, but I'm going to go Jacobs personally. I love Jacobs as an RB3 this season. So Breece Hall is the final selection of the 5th round. And to start the 6th round, we see Justin Herbert off the board. So I just want to go best available receiver here. And I like taking a chance on one of these Broncos receivers. There's an argument for Judy. There's an argument for Sutton. Let's go with Sutton. Hollywood Brown sitting here. Brandon Cooks, Chris Godwin, Darnell Mooney. A lot of good receiver value right there. I didn't go Chris Godwin, although personally, I don't necessarily think he should be ranked any lower than any of the other available receivers. But I don't go Chris Godwin here because I already have Mike Evans on this team. So I already have a piece of that receiving core. So I think Sutton is a great wide receiver 3 for this roster. So Miles Sanders is gone. Gibby is gone. Patrick Mahomes is gone. So at this point, maybe we want to start to think about the quarterback position, and maybe we want to go out and just secure a top tier guy, as I think we have a really good start to this roster. So if Jalen Hurts is available at pick 69 or 72, we'll go ahead and we'll secure one of them, but we'll just kind of see how this plays out. And we might end up going with another running back and receiver, right? Let's take a look at tight end now that we're at this point in the draft. I mean, Schultz, Goddard, Knox, Henry, and Hawkinson, as well as Ertz, are probably guys I'm keeping an eye on. And we're going to be able to secure one of those guys pretty easily. Schultz, you're going to pay the highest price for. I kind of like to wait and see if we can land a Dallas Goedert. But looking at things at the moment, Jalen Hurts does wrap up the 6th round, so we don't land Hurts. We did see Lamar Jackson selected at 57. Allen Robinson's gone, and Damian Harris is gone. And we'll move into the 7th here. So for me, I'm probably at that point where I don't really think Kyler Murray's going to fall to 69. He might. But I'm at that point where I'd rather just go out and get Burrow in the following round. And then after that, maybe try and secure Trey Lance, but you don't necessarily have to. So to start the 7th round, we see my favorite running back in the whole draft selected here in A.J. Dillon. And really, realistically, A.J. Dillon is not going to last where he is ranked through ESPN's rankings, regardless of if it's a PPR mock or a H2H mock, a standard mock, whatever it is. You're not going to see A.J. Dillon last that long. So I think in the 7th round is a great value. In our subscriber mocks, he's going anywhere from the 4th to the 6th round. It's very sporadic, but there are enough fantasy managers who have high conviction in A.J. Dillon. Just not going to see him fall out where he's ranked through ESPN around the 90 mark or so. So he's gone at 61. Hollywood Brown is gone. Devin Singletary's gone. Jerry Jeudy's gone. So Kyler Murray's still sitting around. There are some receivers I really like. There goes Kyler Murray. He's off the board, followed by Brandon Cooks. So I think for me, I'm just going best available running back and receiver here. Although running back is starting to get to that point where it's a little bit weak. But you know what? Another guy who is ranked really low through ESPN's rankings, who's not going to be available in later rounds, who's going anywhere between the 5th and the 7th right now, most of our subscriber mocks, is Damian Pierce, and I'm taking him off the board here. I've loved Damian Pierce all off season long, but I love him as an RB4. Even in a 10-team draft, I think he's a great RB4 for your roster. He's going to be an RB1 on the season in my mind, undoubtedly. And I have said that since he's been drafted. He has had a clear path to be an RB1 for the Texans all off season long. So I am incredibly happy with that selection. I don't care if it's against ADP, technically speaking. So I'm going to take a risk here. Let's look at tight end. Goddard's the top available tight end, so it's hard here. There's some receivers I just really like sitting here. So Godwin's still sitting here, who I absolutely love, but I really like Devonta Smith this year. So I'll go with Devonta Smith. I also like Elijah Moore and Adam Thielen in this tier. So this is a great example of this strategy. I mean, we've stayed tried and true to just switching between running back and receiver all the way throughout the draft. The question now becomes, what QB1 and what tight end 1 do we land, and what value do we get at each position? I think we'll be perfectly fine, but we'll see how things play out. So Tony Pollard finishes out the 7th round, and into the 8th round we go. We got TJ Hawkinson, my selection of Devonta Smith. Chris Godwin falls out pretty far back to 73 in tonight's mock. CH is gone, and Amari Cooper is off the board. So we've got 4 more bench spots to fill, a quarterback and a tight end to fill, and then a kicker and defense to finish things out. If you guys are enjoying today's content, be sure to hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button, of course, if you're new to the channel. We put out free daily fantasy football content. We have been running mock drafts as well as real drafts all throughout the off season. We are here to help you dominate your fantasy football season. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you guys are thinking of today's mock so far. I think we built a really solid roster. I'd be very, very happy with this squad heading into a 10-team league, although we still need to secure a quarterback and tight end, so let's not get too happy. All right, looking at the rest of the 8th round, Ramondre Stevenson, Amari Cooper, Rashad Penny, Hunter Renfrow, and Cordero Patty and Cheese all off the board, followed by Allen Lazard. So I'm still feeling pretty confident. We saw a pretty heavy run at the running back and the receiver position there as we enter the 9th round. If we continue to see that, that will really help us, because I still think we can land a true value tight end and true value quarterback here in the 9th. We could go ahead and just get it over with. I will say if Elijah Moore, Adam Thielen, or even Bateman or Ayuk are still sitting around, is going to make things harder. I do think sitting with 4 running backs that I'm confident in, we can take a breather at running back, and then in later rounds start to look at guys like James Cook if he's available, Michael Carter, Daryl Henderson. I think we can land a solid RB5. I'm really happy with the first 4 running backs that we've gotten. So into the 9th round, we got Juju off the board, Adam Thielen, and Tom Brady. So I really want Joe Burrow here. I mean, I like Prescott, Rodgers, and Wilson, but I got Burrow just a little bit higher in my personal rankings over those guys. So Elijah Moore is gone. I mean, most of the guys that I've been considering over quarterback, Bateman, Elijah Moore, and Goddard, gone. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Drake London, Ayuk are the top-rated players. I would take a chance on Ayuk here. So let's take a look at the team selecting between 89 and 92. He has Justin Herbert. So there's a good chance that we can kind of take whoever we want and still land Joe Burrow here. So I like Ayuk a lot, but I'm going to go with DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going to take him off the board, and that gives us a great value down the stretch for this team. So I love that selection. That really helps solidify our receiver room down the stretch. So, and then we can still land our QB1 in Joe Burrow. So we'll see if Lance falls out to 109. If he does, I'll take a chance on Lance. I mean, I would love to have Lance behind who I consider a stable quarterback in Joe Burrow, just in case things don't shape out immediately for Trey Lance, although I do think he's going to have a good season. So most importantly, we need to select a tight end in the coming rounds. I don't have a problem fading tight ends really in 10-team drafts, 12-team drafts, or 14-team drafts. 14, maybe there's an argument to go for a value at a certain or at an earlier point. You don't want to wait too long. But 8-team drafts is the opposite for me. I want to go out and get a tight end early and secure that positional advantage as early as I can. But in 10 and 12 teams, I think you can fade tight end and still get a really good, consistent player if you don't go out and get a Kelsey, Andrews, or Pitts early. So let's take a look at what's been going on. The team in between us went with the first defense and kicker off the board with the Bills and Justin Tucker. We got Burrow, Kenneth Walker's gone, Mike Gesicki's gone, Ayuk's gone, Kareem Hunt, Tyler Lockett, Chris Olave, Chase Claypool, and MBS all off of the board. So we've got 3 more bench spots to fill, as well as the tight end position. So we could go double tight end here if we really wanted to, and that way we, if you have any doubts about a late round tight end, you can always go with an extra tight end. But I'm really eyeing James Cook for this roster as our final running back. If he's not available, I'll hold off and then just go with Daryl Henderson. I think he's a great late round running back. I also like Tyler Algier, still rookie for the Falcons. So there's a chance that we end up with 2 rookie running backs on this team, and Michael Carter's still hanging around. I think he's worth a 5th round or 5th RB for your roster without a doubt. Looking at receiver, I think we're in a great spot. I mean, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, Devonta Smith, and DeAndre Hopkins. I think that kind of allows us to hold off another round. Players I like at the position right now would be Tyler Boyd, Sky Moore, Kenny Galladay. I would still take a chance on Russell Gage at this point as well. But let's get our tight end. Let's get Dawson Knox off the board here as our tight end 1. If you're worried about the injury to Knox, then go out and select a second tight end. I'm not particularly worried about it personally. Trey Lance is still sitting here. Ooh, it's tough. It's tough. All right, let's do it. Let's go for the upside pick. Let's go Trey Lance. We're probably going to miss James Cook here, but I think we'll survive And really, to finish out this draft, we're just going to select, guess what, the best running back and the best receiver to end things out. So some players that we're going to miss out on. James Cook is gone. Hunter Henry's gone. I do like the value of Russell Gage, Kenny Golladay, Sky Moore, and Tyler Boyd all sitting here. If any of those guys fall out, I will be extremely happy. Let's take a look at running back. For me right now, it's Daryl Henderson. I don't think Carter's going to be available. I consider him if he is. I like Henderson the most, but I don't mind Tyler Algier. Being that we have one rookie running back, maybe we go with Henderson here. Looking at receivers, I mean, there's always going to be somebody who holds value that you can draft towards the end of your draft at the receiver position. But Tyler Boyd is the top guy for me without a doubt. After that, probably Sky Moore. I just don't know that either of those guys. I mean, they're all, yeah. I mean, Golladay, Moore, Boyd, Burks are all gone. So we missed that trade, right? For me, looking at things, I really like George Pickens sitting here. So let's stick to the strategy. Let's go Daryl Henderson. And then let's try and end this draft with George Pickens and call it a day. I like Jon Dawson a lot. I think he holds a lot of value, but Pickens has kind of showed a little bit more upside in terms of how he's played in preseason action. So I think Dotson's a bit of a sleeper, but I think realistically you're going to see Pickens go in your real drafts before you see Dotson go. So I like both, but in a 10-team mock, I'll go ahead and I'll take Pickens off the board. And I absolutely love this team from head to toe. This is a perfect draft in my mind for a 10-team mock. So we'll finish things out with a kicker and our defense. Doesn't really matter what order we go, and we'll call this thing a day. All right, so into the 15th round here. Like I said, we're just going to go with the best available kicker or defense. I'm going to go kicker first. I like Matt Gay and Daniel Carlson right here. I mean, there's a lot of good kickers hanging around. We'll go with Matt Gay. I don't mind really most kickers who are available there. Then looking at defense, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of different routes you could go. You can stream the first couple of weeks, go with the Browns. You could bet on the Patriots, although they don't look great on paper. Go with the Chargers, who have had some great offseason moves. We'll just go with the Rams. And we'll just end this with two Rams units with the kicker position and the Rams defense. And that'll wrap up the mock draft. I think we absolutely killed it. I would be so happy with this team going into the season. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of this squad overall. Here's a final look at the team. We finished with Najee Harris, James Conner, Josh Jacobs, Damian Pierce, and Daryl Henderson at the running back position. At receiver, we got Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, Devonta Smith, DeAndre Hopkins, and George Pickens. Quarterback, we got Burrow and Trey Lance. Tight end, we got Dawson Knox, Matt Gay, and the Rams defense. An absolutely beautiful team in my opinion. And we stayed tried and true to our bounce back strategy, going running back, receiver, running back, receiver, running back, receiver, running back, receiver. Here we deviated. We went receiver, quarterback, tight end, quarterback. You'll see kind of towards the end of the middle part, going into the end of the draft, you'll probably deviate a little bit as you do eventually have to take a quarterback and tight end. And I just felt like at that moment in the draft, we were in a good enough position at running back that we could take an additional receiver. Then we finished out with a running back and receiver, kicker, and defense. A great team overall in my opinion. Be sure to hit that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Check out all of our links down below. If you guys have any mock draft requests, please let me know in the comment section down below as well. And that'll do for today's video. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch.